What's up, this is Cat04 and this is a comic book update. I thought because I've been getting into comic books a lot more recently, I thought I'd go through some stuff I've read recently, some stuff I've picked up and stuff, so yeah. First of all, something I read was Batman Detective Comics issue 27. It was for the 75-year anniversary of Batman. And so they published an old story of Batman from I think the 30s or 40s. In this, and then they did a revamp of it to show you what some artists chose to do for the storyline. And so, yeah, to celebrate Batman's 75 years. And it was pretty interesting, especially it was interesting to look at how they originally did Batman stuff. And I don't know if you can tell through... Oh, you can see, like it says here, Detective in the background. And so they got the original cover and then just pasted a transparent cover on the top of it, kind of thing. It's pretty cool, actually. From May 1939. Yeah. And because I've been reading a lot more, I thought I'd try and read some comic books I've had for a while and just try and read through them. So I read through a comic book that was written by one of my favourite movie writers and directors, Kevin Smith. The first issue of Green Arrow Quiver Part 1, which is pretty cool. And it wasn't a bad story, and I know this is set sometime. This isn't set in 2001, and this set sometime after 0 Hour, which is pretty cool. And I also read this because I've never read one, so I thought I'd read a Shazam comic. And this is like the first issue from '95, so it was just after 0 Hour as well. And it's actually a really good issue. So I've actually looked at the second issue because I want to know how the story ends, since it's the start of I don't know what volume this is, what series this is, but I do like the character Shazam. I like the idea of him and stuff, and I liked him in like the DC animated films and TV series. So I thought I'd actually read a comic of it. And I know they got a New 52 version, which is they got a paperback with like a bunch of issues from the Justice League New 52 series, with main bits of him in it. So I don't know whether to get the Justice League or just get that, so kind of on that turn. Some issues I've got in from MCM, since MCM Expo I picked up a few Future End issues, and I've been picking up a couple issues every now and then. So I picked up issues 6, 7, 8 and 9 of Future Ends of eBay. I'm waiting for 10 to arrive at the moment because I've got 11 to 14, which I got... I got 11 to 13 and issue 15. Those 4 I got at MCM Expo, and they didn't have 14 at the time, so I couldn't pick that up, unfortunately, from the seller I went to. Something that arrived today, actually, that I was pretty happy, because I've been wanting to read recently, and I know the paperback's kind of hard to get hold of. So I picked up the 0 Hour DC storyline, all 5 issues, which I got off eBay, which was pretty cool. And the interesting thing is, it's called the 0 Hour, and you read from the highest number to the lowest issue. So there's so issue 4 you read all the way down to issue 0, where the story ends, where the story concludes and stuff, which is pretty interesting. And if you look at it, I haven't read it yet. I'm gonna read it sometime. One has a bunch of characters lying in a white blur, and then the issue 0 is just a blank white page, which is pretty cool. And so yeah, I'm happy they came boarded as well, so that's pretty cool. It saved me time of getting each separate issue, so that saved me a lot of time, actually. Another thing I picked up from Amazon last week, yeah, and I read it in, I had it one day, I read halfway through it, I had something on the next day, so I read it the day after that, pretty much. And that's the volume 1 of the New 52 Flash. And because the Flash TV series has been on, and the Flash is kind of a cool character that I've always liked since, technically not the Flash, but Impulse from Smallville, with Kid Flash from like Teen Titans and Young Justice, and the Flash from the Justice League series. So, and I've always liked the Flash character from the movies, because I know this is Barry Allen, technically the second Flash. And so I wanted to check it out, and it was actually a really good read. And I really want to get volume 2, because it kind of ends on a... like the way Issues ends, it ends on kind of a cliffhanger, so I want to know what happens next, and so I do need to pick up the next volume, which is on my interest to get, definitely. It's a pretty good series, actually. Something else I've pushed myself to read recently was, I got this quite a while back as well. I should have shown that with that actually. It's an old paperback of Batman of the Future, which was called in the UK, I'm not sure about America, but also known as Batman Beyond, which is like an alternative storyline with when Bruce Wayne is old and he gets a new, like a young teenager to be Batman, Terry McGinnis. And so this is the 6 issues from the first series of it that came out in '98. And I think this came out before the TV series, so this basically set out for the TV series, which I'm a big fan of, and unfortunately we don't have it in the UK on DVD at the moment, which is unfortunate. And AMCM, I picked up 2 paperbacks, which I read through. One of them, which I read through the night before Halloween, because I had plans on Halloween, I thought why not, which is The Blackest Night, which is a pretty good read, really interesting. And so it's got me interested in looking into the Brightest Day stuff, so I'm going to look into that as well. Really good storyline, a pretty good thing to read, yeah, just before Halloween. And something I read which I've wanted to read for quite a while, which I picked up at MCM, which was Crisis on Infinite Earths, all 12 issues, paperback. 2 of the issues are actually double issues, so they're like double length, so technically it's more like reading 14 issues. But this is the storyline that took up the whole year of 94? Yeah, 85, not 94. 94 was 0 Hour, my apologies. Of 85, which was the death of Barry Allen, which really pulled my interest into looking into it. And it's a really good paperback, really good story. And I read this in about a week. So I read a couple issues every night, and I left the last issue, which was a double length, at the end of the week, which was like the day after, so I could read it in small bursts. And it was a really good read, a really happy reading that, because I read Infinite Crisis, and then after I read Infinite Crisis like last year? Yeah, last year I think. Then I read this, and I looked at, because I wanted to look into Final Crisis, which I know is, I think it connects to this a little bit, but not as much. Well, I'm not 100% sure, because I want to pick up Final Crisis and read it. And then I looked online about the 0 Hour series, and that's why I bought it. So I know it goes Infinite Earths, then 0 Hour, then Infinite Crisis, and then maybe Final Crisis. Although it isn't really a multiverse storyline, it connects a little bit to Infinite Crisis, I think. And it's kind of spoilers, the rebirth of Barry Allen, so it's really interesting to me. I also want to pick up the Flash Rebirth paperback, which collects the 6 issues of Flash Rebirth, which came out after Barry came back to life, which is pretty cool. And Blackest Night happens, I think, a little bit after, actually I think just after Final Crisis, so that was pretty cool. So I'm a little filled in on what happened, but not everything. So, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, so that's basically it so far. That's all the stuff I've been reading comic book wise. I've read a lot recently, and I'm a lot more motivated to read comic books, which is weird. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've got any questions, want to leave any comments, like, comment, subscribe. This has been Character Hero 4. Thank you for watching. Check out my videos. I did a vlog not too long ago. You can look at my MCM pickups, because that's not just all I got. I got some other stuff as well, which you might find interesting. So yeah, again, this is Character Hero 4. Like, comment, subscribe, and goodbye.